All right, hey guys, what's going on? My name's Chris Hawkes, and this is your best life defined. So I'm out there walking and talking, and I spend a lot of time asking myself questions about the things that I talk about and that I believe. And I believe that one of those things is about how to achieve dreams. All right, I think for most people, if you look at amazing success, in order for that to happen, the dream has to be really big. It has to be this friggin' awesome dream that most people will never try. You're going to have to step completely outside your box in order to accomplish it. But the other thing is it has to be connected to who you are, right? And I stand by that position. I stand by that idea that if you're not climbing high enough on the ladder, if the reward isn't great enough, the effort isn't going to be worth it. I mean, no one ever dreams to buy or to own a candy bar. You know what I mean? But there are a lot of people who dream of owning a Corvette. There are a lot of people who dream of owning their own garage, but no one ever, I don't think anyone ever dreams of owning a tough shed, right? Not that it's a bad thing to have a tough shed. I like tough sheds. But within that motivation to grab those big dreams, there's a problem. Like, let's say, for instance, your choice is to become a doctor. Or, I mean, this podcast is a prime example. Let's just look at this. My dream that's connected to this podcast is that I become the number one podcaster in any segment of our population. Maybe it's in Canyon City or in Colorado, or maybe it's in the western part of the United States, or maybe it can be the world. But it's a big dream connected to it, right? Well, what I came to realize is that I can't just look at that as the motivation for me to achieve it. It's just too far away. It's hard to fathom. And what I realize is dreams are broken down into pieces. They are broken down into the steps it takes to achieve that goal. When you bring this back to the podcast, this thing I'm doing right now, this podcast, this particular podcast, is a small piece of a bigger dream. It is me facing the struggle, whether I want to or not, of showing up every day and doing what I do, right? Every day. No matter how I feel about it, no matter how much I don't want to do it, no matter how tired I am. And the goal, or this method to achieve that amazing goal, that big dream of being the world's most popular podcast, requires that I attend to this piece, that I attend to this one piece, this moment right here, in order for that to happen. That's why we fail. See, whether you're talking about dreams or whether you're talking about changing any portion of your life, it's a process of assembly. It's a process of building that thing that you desire to have, right? Whether it's your relationship. You look across the table at that person you love every day and you just wish it could be better. Well, what does it take to build that? What pieces do you need to take care of in order for that to be created because of your actions? That's your dream? I understand that. That is my dream. It continues to be. But back before we actually got on this path to something better, to live in our best life, Sandy and I struggled, and I used to sit back and just want my relationship with my wife to be like those rom-coms, you know? Want it to be where she wakes up in the morning and she rolls over and she doesn't have bad breath, and neither do I. She kisses on me and tells me how much she loves me. Then she gets out of bed and she's naked, and you know that scene, right? It's still not quite there. Okay, I still wake up with bad breath, but the part that is there is the fact that, man, it's a cool relationship. It's cool. You wake up every day and you look at each other. And granted, we have our struggles. There's some pressure in living this close to each other. And of course, the bigger issue is finding ourselves. I'm so proud of my wife, because she's been doing a lot of soul searching, in the same manner as what I do when I prepare for this podcast. She's been talking to herself and asking herself questions about what her life needs to look like. And she's finally stepping forward. She's kind of starting to step into that realm of the unknown, outside her box, and doing some stuff. And it's really exciting. I got to admit, it's kind of scary for me. Kind of scary because I'm I'm still pretty insecure, right? I'm not going to lie about that. When it comes to our relationship, there are times when I think, oh my God, why would she love this? Okay. But her dream is to be more than she is right now. And in order for her to do that, she has to pick up the pieces. She has to tend to pieces that take her in a direction that might give her what she's looking for, might send her to something better. And again, it all has to be connected to her, but she's not going to get there by looking at the big dream of whatever it is she's trying to do. And neither are you. So this is the process. Let's get to the process so that you can come back to me and you can mention in the comments, hey, listen, Chris, I tried it. It works. The process is a simple one. If you want to accomplish anything in your life, you want to make anything in your life better or just downright amazing, the ticket is to pick it. That's kind of cool. Pick it. It doesn't matter right now whether you believe you can achieve it or not. What you have to do is you have to grab a hold of something that inspires you. And then you have to tell a story about it and start having a conversation in your head about whether it's actually possible. And what's cool about that is as you start that conversation, because the more you talk about it, the better it becomes. And then all of a sudden you start asking yourself, well, what can I do to get there? And those are the pieces. Those are the pieces that come with that dream. You want to get your master's degree. You want to become a barber or a beautician. You want to, anything in your life, you pick it. You want to be a podcaster? Once you build that story up enough that you cannot resist the desire to take action on it, that's your first step. That's the first piece. Take a step towards that thing you dream of doing. And I guarantee you the first step is always the most difficult. I look back now and I think, man, I am sure glad I got this thing off the ground because I spent 2 weeks, I bet better than 2 weeks, agonizing over my podcast. Do I have anything to say? And finally, my wife turned to me and she says, it doesn't matter whether you are feeling good or bad about it. Do it. Do it because it's a piece of the puzzle. It's the piece that's required for you to accomplish your dream, right? My big dream is to change your life. And this is a piece of that. The website's a piece of that. What's your dream? Now, today I was walking and I'm thinking about this podcast and I'm thinking to myself, damn, what am I missing? Well, what I'm missing is the reason that there doesn't seem to be the resources to step outside your box in a lot of cases. I mean, let's face it. You're working 5 days a week, 6 days a week, maybe. You got a mountain of debt. There are things you love to do that you used to do, but now you can't because you don't have the time, you don't have the money. How do you break that out so you can make that happen? Well, as long as you don't pick it as a goal, as long as you don't say, hey, listen, baby, I've been thinking about it, and I think this next summer, by the time we get to this next summer, we're going to have money set aside. It's called boat money. It's called fun money. It's called do the shit you love to do money, so that we can take the boat out every weekend all summer long. That's a dream, right? That's cool, right? Well, when you think about the pieces that come with that dream, what's that require? Well, it might require you to find a way to stop spending money, because you're going to need to put money away. Every week that you earn money, you're going to have to put enough away to pay for that trip to the lake with that boat, right? How much is that? Well, when I had a boat, in fact, any time we go out and do anything outdoors like that from a home base, from a conventional home, it's $300. Right? If I were to take my fifth wheel and head south for the month, it would be $300 by the time I got there. It's $300 seems to be the magic number, but that's how you get to that dream. And every day you have a conversation about it and what you can do and how we can work harder to get there. And then you exercise those pieces. You pick up those pieces. You say, okay, I got this piece. Another 300. There's another piece. Boom. Because a dream is built. A dream is constructed on a series of actions. Dreams are built on a foundation of intention and destination and defined direction. The biggest reason you haven't accomplished any of your dreams in a long time is because chances are you haven't picked anything. You say you have conversations while you're drinking beer with your friends or having cocktails or out to dinner with some. Yeah, we'd like to. We'd like to. We'd like to does not get you there. I am. We are. Those type of words get you there. Hey, we are. We decided, this week. Yeah, $300 away. We're $300 closer to spending all summer playing golf. It doesn't matter what the dream is. Let's go big on this one. And I get this idea from Tim Ferriss. And Tim Ferriss, there are so many people in the world that are smarter than me. I just got to say that. I mean, Tony Robbins, Tim Ferriss, Brene Brown, Will Smith, Oprah Winfrey. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on. So I run around, I gather all this information, and I try and keep it in my toolbox so I can kind of keep everything in my life on check and I can be better at the things I want to do, right? But Tim Ferriss, he talks about in the 4-Hour Work Week, which you need to pick up. It's a great book, gives you a new perspective on how things are done, gets you inspired about doing things different than the people around you. But in his book, he talks about the idea of only having to work half a year, or being able to take 6 months a year off, right? And his analogy, and forgive me, Tim, if I'm kind of messing this up, but in a paraphrase, and the analogy is that if you want to have 6 months a year off, there are two things you can do to make that happen. The first would be for you to learn how to earn the amount of money you make in a year in 6 months. And what that would do, of course, that would free you up. You could quit working, and for 6 months, you could live on the money you earned in the previous 6 months. And the other point he makes is if you want to have 6 months a year off, you could learn how to live on half as much money as you're living on now. Those are two big ass pieces of any dream you have going on. If you don't have the time, or you haven't been able to go do things you want to do, grab a hold of those two pieces, either direction you want to take it, and then break it apart in your own life and make it fit your own life. Ask yourself, okay, we want to take 6 months off so we can explore Europe, so we can travel around all the national parks in the country. How do you do that? That's where you break it down into small pieces. That big dream into small pieces. No more Starbucks for me, baby. All right, let's stop wasting. We need to kind of hone in on our produce situation. Produce doesn't seem to last as long as it used to, so maybe we can go with buying frozen vegetables and just with some fruit or whatever, but we got to hone this out. We got to clean our mess up. Maybe we can walk to work twice a week, or ride our bike to work twice a week, or maybe we can go ahead and pull the trigger and realize that having two fancy-ass vehicles with payments and insurance isn't going to get us to that point where we want to spend 6 months a year doing what we love to do. All of those elements are pieces of that dream. And now, I can't define that for you. I'm not going to tell you, hey, this is what you need to do. What I'm saying is that the reason most of us fail when it comes to picking our dreams and to achieving our goals is because, number one, we don't pick a good enough dream. And you can verify this right now. What dream do you have cooking right now that you're actively engaged in? What goal do you have that you're actually taking steps on a regular basis towards achieving? If you're 35, been married for 15 years, and wake up every day tired and drink too much beer every night, chances are you don't have anything on the horizon that even comes close to looking like that. But the cool part is it's never too late. It's not too late. So tomorrow morning, or right now, take a minute. Every day, take a minute every day to ask yourself, what's my dream? What would I love my life to look like? What would I like to change? What would I like to have access to? Pick it. Make sure it's connected to who you are. Don't get all caught up in that social media influence about what success is supposed to look like. Don't get caught up in that idea of the American dream. Oh, bigger, better, fancier, more debt. Oh, yeah, I'm happy, right? Don't fall in that crap. Sit down, spend some time with yourself, and ask yourself, what would I like my life to look like? What thing would I like to spend more time doing that I don't do now? What experience would I love to have? Break it out into pieces. What do you need to build that dream? What do you need? What elements do you need to make that dream happen? Start working on them every day. I guarantee you'll get there. In fact, I promise you'll get there. You have to be honest with yourself. You have to be motivated to just continue that. So keep that in mind. Listen, this is how it's done. I'm doing it every day. You see what this is now. It's going to continue to grow. It's going to continue to get better. And it's because of you and your help. You've been showing up every day, and I really appreciate that. But in closing, here's my challenge to you. Before you get done with this podcast, jump down there and make a comment. If there's something in your life you're struggling with, if there's something in your life you just can't seem to figure out, or maybe there's something you want to do, but you just don't know where to start, jot down a line. Let me know what you're thinking about. If you're not comfortable sharing the entire story, we can make that happen with an IM or some sort of conference. Maybe we can do a Zoom or a Google Meets. But yeah, let me know. I'd really love to address some of the issues you have going on in your life. And the other thing is, if you got an idea about a podcast, or you think something that might help you or your friends or someone you know, give you something to share with them that might help them change their life, let me know about that too. I'd be happy to give you credit for the idea, and I'll do my best to give you everything I can to make your dreams come true, or to help whoever is looking for that. So keep that in mind. I love showing up. I love being here. Even when I don't want to show up, I do, because that's part of my dream, right? So remember, a platform of kindness, platform of consideration, it works, man. And as always, just remember, today's your day. Make it a good one.